Good evening, and welcome once again to Philly by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition game set in the city of brotherly love. We are joined once more by our emissary coterie, or at least most of it. Occasionally, doctors do find themselves a tad busy. So, on this evening, everyone's favorite possible sect war in the making. How's your day been?
Sharky's been good. Sharky Sharky got some breakfast. That went pretty well. Didn't have to do much to in order to get a hold of a person. Wasn't too rough of a morning for him. Normally he wakes up very hungry, like most of the rest of his clan. Apparently in this city, it's apparently a running plague, uh, within the
Ah,
city.
yes, gangrel starts.
Yeah. Apparently we just apparently just wake up ravenous regularly. So that's how he's expected to wake up at this point. But today he woke up fine, which bodes ill for the rest of the night.
Yep, good old Mr. Knox. How about you, Mr. Vanguard? How was your waking?
Yeah, he's a little hungry. He's a little hungry. He went and had a snack downstairs when he got ready.
Well, we do have an evening planned. At least part of one. You all took in some employees a couple of sessions ago,
Mm-hmm.
which means they have to be introduced to the prince. Officially, formally. So you have all been asked, mostly politely, to meet with Mr. Bridgerton so that you can all head over together. So, how do you get there? How do you get back to Eastern State Penitentiary?
Uh, Sharky's got the resources. Takes a limousine.
Okay, Sharky's got a car service. Is he bringing his security with him, or is Luther finding his own way?
He's actually Luther. He's making Luther drive.
Luther is the driver. And Monsieur Vanguard?
He would grab up, let me look at the name here because it's been a while, guys, and I forgot the guy's name again after I just looked at it. The squirrels are running rampant. He would grab Nick and just order a lift.
Okay, hiring cars. Is there anything that either one of them would care to speak to their employees about regarding their current stage of dress?
You gave me a picture with a side profile. I'm assuming from the picture he's wearing a button up and black slacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ashton's a little dressed up. However, he's going to look. We really need to work on your wardrobe for future endeavors. Um, Mainly just to make sure we keep appearances up and all, coming in and out of the club, if you catch my drift.
I'm an accountant. You want me to what?
Just every once in a while. Just a little bit. I'm not asking making it your permanent wardrobe.
I suppose.
But other than that, that was about all he had to say on the way over there.
Mr. Sharkey, will you be giving Mr. Marks any tips?
He's gonna look him up and down as he's going to get in the car. With Sharky's dots and etiquette, which he has quite a few, Uh, he's gonna look up and down. You can't go to meet the prince dressed like that.
What do you mean? This is tactical.
Yeah, you wear the tactical vest underneath a suit.
You're, I didn't realize this was a suit and tie sort of assignment.
It's not a full suit. Just grab a jacket. No, no arms.
Fine.
I know there's a lot you don't know about our families, but his family is known for having standards,
Oh,
unreasonable standards. So
known for having a stick up their ass. Got it. I'll change.
yeah, uh, yeah, highly recommended.
And Luther will go change and come back out with a black pants, a blazer, and a black turtleneck. Better.
Much, much better.
Fine. So we're going. We're going in the car. We're going in the lift. Everybody's cursing because this is Philadelphia traffic. And just in case you weren't aware, Philadelphia is the kind of city where you pray to the God of your choice and then follow the traffic laws because they don't count otherwise. There's no such thing as right of way. So you arrive at the penitentiary, your employees in tow, and Mr. Davis is apparently nowhere to be seen. There two thin bloods there, and a man who is completely unremarkable looking in any way, shape, or form.
Completely unremarkable looking in any way, shape, or form.
Completely. I mean, he's probably about the size and build of Mr. Bridgerton, Lord Bridgerton,
Mm, mm,
but
yeah,
otherwise, eyes just seem to slide right off him. Weird.
completely unremarkable in every way, shape, or form is, kind of suspicious in kindred society.
Mm-hmm.
However, or yeah, we can say kindred. Let's say kindred. Kindred works. Uh, um, as they park, Sharky's just going to uh, turn. The eyes sort of slide right off him, so you can't really like pay attention to him. But he's still gonna give like a nod in the general direction of the the bland man.
Good, good. You're all here. You're all dressed mostly appropriately. I suppose we will make do with the scrubs. Still, you all know how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, yeah, we have to tell our lord ugh, about every single child we come across.
Our sponsor has been quite clear that he would like to know what kindred are in his city.
Which is why I'm respecting his property and making certain to inform him.
Indeed.
That's why they're here. Sort of gives his buddy a pat on the back.
Just quick pat 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 on Thomas Jane. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a pat on the back, not on the head. But he's taller than me, so he's taller than Sharky.
Pat pat. Very well. And I will be introducing Ms. Kent. I have told you 30 times it is Mix. Fine. Mix Kent and Dr. Drake. The doctor seems to find himself a little bit busy with some of his charges, as happens for a man of his stature. Have we brushed up on our etiquette?
My etiquette is spotless as per usual.
I'm not too bad at it myself when I know that I'm needing to prepare for it, so I think we're ready. He kind of looks over at Nick.
Nick's just gonna look around and wonder why he had gotten a talk to about clothes with what some of the other folks are wearing.
Would Ashton pick up on that?
Probably.
Ashton looks at him and mouths the words, "I was not with them."
I didn't pick their clothes.
Correct. I am also not the one that is responsible for them. And he mouths all of that very quickly.
Fine.
Another pat on his shoulder. Don't worry, because you're dressed well, you'll be the one that survives if anyone dies.
Ashton cuts a look at Sharky so sharp that it's like he's like shh, and then he mouths the words to Sharky, "Shut up."
They should know what they're walking into.
"Shut up, Sharky."
They should. So let's do a little bit of a test of what you recall of Camarilla etiquette, shall we?
Let us shall.
What are they walking into, Mr. Knox?
This is a test of Camria etiquette, so I should resist my gut instinct to say a den of vipers, though it's still a Camria. It's a Camria city, and I think they would call it themselves that as well.
More like a
But
den of lions in this case, I think.
it's the prince's domain, meaning that he is his direct domain, meaning that he holds basically unlimited power within his own unchecked domain. Technically, he holds unlimited power within the entirety of the city. However, in his own domain, he's more able to enforce it quickly and readily. And that means all of our lives are at his mercy. If he's having a bad day, technically our lives are fine because of rules that are beyond even his control. But you four are not exactly bound by the same rules that we are. So if he's having a bad day, any of you could be at a problem, which is why I made sure you were dressed well, because I don't want you taking a chance to offend him at all, because that could be bad for all of us involved. So
much as we have our own laws, the four laws that you are all very well aware of. The Camarilla has their own set of rules, and one of them is domain. The city belongs to Prince Sexton, so we must follow his law. He is to be introduced to any kindred living or feeding in his domain. Which it includes us to some degree, though we do tend to have a bit of, we'll call it diplomatic immunity. We do try not to push His Grace unnecessarily.
I mean, just generally pushing an elder is unwise.
Indeed, they do tend to be quite powerful. It comes with having lived quite a long time. Very well. Do we think we are ready? So, how shall we all get there? Would you prefer your own vehicles, or perhaps there is a way all seven of us can travel together?
I brought a limousine.
That is, in fact, a way all seven of us can travel together. And you are willing to allow us use of it for this evening?
They're all members of my coterie.
Yes, we are all at least attached to members of your coterie.
Consider it consider it a trivial favor.
That sounds positively camarilla of you, Mr. Knox.
It sounds honorable.
Very well, we will call it a trivial favor. Not that we have anyone who will record it of us, do we?
I trust you'll keep your debts. You always do.
I have thus far. So, we all pilot into the limo?
Might as well. And he
Does
just
the limo have any liquor in it? Or like champagne or anything?
So it does have one of those like, in the really fancy limousines, you have the like the little like it's not a dispenser per se because it's already usually pre-poured, but like the glass it opens up and the glasses are there. If somebody presses around fiddling with the buttons, they can get that to open up and it has glasses of champagne in there with champagne flutes. Sharky doesn't even realize it's there. He's never used it.
Oh,
He doesn't need it.
the two of the four thin bloods can drink. Or at least two of the three that are in the back. Luther might be able to drink, but Luther is driving.
It's Philly.
Nick and Smiley, however, can still drink and are doing so to calm their nerves.
After one, Sharky's gonna cut them off and be like, "You don't want to risk. You don't want to risk taking anymore. Trust me. Keep your wits about you."
Both get a little huffy, but neither fights it. It appears Alexis is unable to imbibe, much in the same way most kindred would be unable to.
Don't worry, kiddo. We'll get you a properly intoxicated mortal. I think we'll need to go out for a celebration after this, don't you think, Ashton?
I mean, you're more than welcome to come to the club after all. Hospitality and whatnot. And he smiles at Sharky. And you can't tell if it's one of genuine a genuine smile. Um is a genuine smile or one with subtext.
We can call it repayment for your repayment for this trip on in the car. What do you say?
He rolls his eyes and shakes Sharky's hand on it, so that's it.
Now this is your repayment. You still have repayment to go through, but it's just a trivial, so it can be something like that.
He just pinches the bridge of his nose and rubs the bridge up and down. As they're driving along, he's just uh ready for them to go.
So we're going! And we're going to Elysium. And Luther has totally not sweated through half his suit. That is not what is happening to the man dressed in all black in July.
Oh no. Well, the good news is, unless he's that kind of thin blood, he shouldn't have sweat glands. So he may be fine, but he
He
may
does,
not
in
be fine.
fact, have sweat glands.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Oh no. That's not normal for Kindred. Poor buddy. He's unlucky.
Wait, is he sweating blood?
No, he is
Oh,
lifelike.
good. Oh, good.
Luther is lifelike. You can still hear his heart beating if you listen for it.
Okay. Whew.
That's not going to be a problem at some point in the future when I'm really hungry. I know it's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. He doesn't cry blood. He doesn't sweat blood. He cries tears and sweats bo.
Still not certain okay. So still not certain he's undead. We're that's the running assumption, but still not certain.
Okay, so we have arrived. Everyone's favorite Mr. Blank has started doing the guides and opening doors and whatnot. This will be you two's first introduction within the halls of Elysium, won't it? Since your last introduction took place elsewhere.
We've had a meeting at Elysium, though,
Okay.
We had
when Sharky ate one of the
Oh
flowers
yes,
off
when
of
Sharky was eating flowers off
Toreador
strain.
Privilege. Yeah.
look. It was a good idea at the time, and I will defend it until I die.
Or till Sharky does.
No, I'll still keep defending it after Sharky dies.
Well done.
Much like
So
Sharky, he can't let anything go.
the white marble room, the throne on the dais, your employees are kind of clustering together. This is very fancy, which makes it terrifying.
See what I meant, Luther?
If you had told me it would be like this, I would have patted my armpits.
there's some. I think there's some paper towels in the glove compartment if you want to.
And freaking Ms. Drake, who is dressed in scrubs and whatnot, pulls a bunch of gauze out of her pockets and just hands it over to Luther. Luther just kind of very trying to be discreet, clearly not discreet because this man is in a turtleneck, but trying to be discreet, just kind of starts shoving gauze into his underarms. Uh, Prince Sexton, you would be watching all of this.
John is amused. There is a very clear look of amusement on the prince's face as he just very softly, though unnecessarily, clears his throat.
Your employee's reaction is immediate. All four heads go directly to, oh shit, there's a giant on that throne.
Sharky goes immediately to take a bow as soon as he hears the throat clearing.
Ashton does as well, following suit. Right, probably about the same time Sharky does.
If they're bowing, your employees are like, oh shit. And while you all are doing like a standing bow, everybody else gets down on their knees except for Bridgerton, who has remained straight this entire time.
Please, please. There is no need to kneel. A bow is perfectly sufficient. Up, up.
Uh, with all due respect, Your Majesty, we don't want to die. That would
Which
be
which one of the
Smiley Kent, the bald woman.
He will look at Smiley Kent before his eyes look over to Sharky. Have you been telling tales out of school, Mr. Knox?
I told him about Prince is. I didn't say you were a good prince. You are a good prince. So, but I needed them to be scared in case they ever meet another prince.
Excellent recovery, Mr. Knox. A bit clumsy on the dismount, but excellent recovery.
if John or Sharky look over to Ashton after he bumbled that statement the way he did, Ashton is trying so hard not to laugh. Like, it's very noticeable. Ash is like biting his lip, trying not to laugh.
So, now that we've dispensed with the nervous energy in the room, who would like to go first?
Mr. Knox, you would like to go first?
Yes. So, Sharky would proffer up Luther Marks, uh, just like, with a hand, just gesture him forward. Uh, basically telling him to introduce himself.
Mr. Marx's immediate reaction is a salute. Uh, Prince Sexton.
Ah, military man. Excellent. So I take it you're proficient in most things martial?
Security is what I do, sir.
Good, good. We could use a few keen minds in that department. I'm glad to see that you have found yourself solid employment with Mr. Knox.
He's got no small amount of skill.
Excellent.
And Luther's going to back up so quickly he damn near trips himself. Senor Marks, Mr. Marks is used to being the tallest person in any room. Having the prince stand 4 inches taller than he is and 1.5 times his own weight and musculature, no freaking thank you.
Please continue.
Ashton's gonna walk up with Nick. This is a Mr. Nick Andres, Your Grace. And he's going to kind of gently nudge him to start talking at this point.
Nick is going to very clearly be wiping off his hand on his shirt and then sticking it out real stiff to shake the prince's hand.
The prince will very politely, with 2 fingers on the man's wrist, just kind of push it away.
N- 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 Nick Andros, sir, Esquire, um, financials and um, accounting is a specialty.
Good. Esquire, so you have some education in the law.
Well, yes, sir. I went to college before,
Excellent.
this.
Do you have your bar card?
He's gonna reach in his back pocket, take out his wallet, drop it, fumble around with it for a couple of minutes, pick it back up, and take out the card. He is a lawyer in good standing.
Hmm. If you find yourself in the need of any additional work, please stop by the offices of Harrison and Company. We may be able to find you a little something extra on top of your normal duties.
Mostly just business law, sir.
Perfect. We have no shortage of need for business law.
Okay.
And he looks around the room.
And it's gonna be the blank man, completely unnoticeable, and the 2 female. Well, the 1 female and the 1 non-binary. Duskborn. The unremarkable man is just going to walk right up and put his hand out for John to shake. John, how is your wife?
He will take the unremarkable man's hand, shake it firmly. She's doing well. She's doing very well. Babies are blossoming. They've finally left the nest, so we have so much more time for enrichment.
I imagine you've recognized me this entire evening, Your Grace.
John will reach up, scratch his temple, and tap the corner of his eye.
Mm-hmm. Very well. Dr. Abarca regrets that he could not present himself along with his employees this evening. Apparently, there is something happening with their current patients.
It's understandable. given their line of work, they can't always make the time. But I do appreciate you sending their regards along, as well as their employees. So who do we have here this evening?
Alexis Drake is going to move forward, and having seen that John did not shake the other Thin Blood's hand, she's not even going to bother. She is going to sketch a curtsy with her lab coat. Alexis Drake, Your Highness, or whatever.
The preferred nomenclature in this court is Your Grace, but I do appreciate the effort, Miss Drake.
Right. So,
Or is it Dr. Drake?
Doctor.
Duly noted.
I work with Dr. Abarca.
Excellent.
I am an obstetric surgeon.
Very important for certain things that have been moving in the city.
Yes, Your Grace. I've been doing a lot of work with the pregnant ones.
Good, good. I'm glad they are in capable hands.
And then she's gonna like back the heck up and elbow the heck out of Smiley. Hello? Smiley Kent. I can make stuff, and I'm trained as a midwife.
So I see that you and Dr. Drake are something of a team?
Well, yes, we both work for Beck. I mean, Dr. Abarca.
Well, that is very good to know. When you say you make things, what is it that you make? Craftsman, artisan, vintner,
Chemist.
an alchemist. Unless I've missed my mark.
No, you haven't. I'm the only one of us four that can do it, though. Well, I guess technically we can all do it. The only one of us who has that training in this sort of thing is me, though.
There may be another individual that we can introduce you to. One of the individuals here under my own protection. We may have some rather important work for the two of you moving forward.
Which we would be too, unless I'm reading things wrong, Your Majesty.
No, you've not read wrong at all. Keen mind. I appreciate that. Well, now that I've had a chance to meet each of you, I would like to extend you the hospitality of my city and what domain you are capable of holding. Each of you will be placed under the accounting of your employers for the time being. This does not mean that you are beholden to them. That does mean that any infractions of the laws of our city are enforced against not just you, but them.
Luther's going to look over at Sharky.
Don't worry. We'll go over it soon.
In the meantime, if there is anything any of you need, please feel free to reach out to your employers who know how to contact my office directly.
Actually, says Mix Kent. The rat lady said that you might have something I should take a look at.
As a matter of fact, I do. And perhaps once we've adjourned in a moment, you'll be so kind as to stay here with me, and I'll introduce you to the rat lady, as you so
Oh,
eloquently put.
oh no, I know her already. She delivers the stuff that we feed to the Gould ones, but like,
She has, what I mean is, there are facilities the city maintains that you may find useful, and you'll get a bit more information as to what it is we would appreciate from you. Your escort is more than welcome to stay with you as well to provide a sense of security.
okay.
He will look Smiley up and down. A question, if you don't mind.
I don't actually think I'm in a position to mind. Do you?
You can always opt not to answer. But you'll have to forgive me. I am an old man, and as such, fairly set in certain ways. How is it that I should be addressing you in a formal capacity?
I mean, I usually answer to "Hey, you with the bald."
Interesting.
Do you mean like honorific?
Preferred prefixes, yes.
Okay. Mix.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, that won't take any adjustment at all.
Good.
But and he claps his gloved hands together. With that, I welcome you all to my city. Please enjoy my hospitality and my protection. You can all feel free to enjoy the rest of your night, unless Mix Kent, you wish to start work immediately.
Maybe. I should talk to them first.
You can feel free to take your time outside of my chambers.
Okay. So Nick and Luther look almost panicked as they start talking to their prospective employers. It was apparently hard enough to learn just the 4 laws. Now they're expected to know more rules.
It's okay. There's only 7 traditions. However, they're very complicated and have an interlock in many more ways. They're simple to learn, very hard to master. In fact, there's people who spend their entire lives studying them, just like real lawyers do. So you don't have to worry about it really too much. Just like real lawyers, if they really want you to have broken a law, you're really just screwed, and you will wind up probably being prosecuted to the full extent of the law if somebody really wants you prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So you really just don't need to worry about it. Just remember, keep the secret, don't kill nobody, and show people the respect they deserve, especially in their home.
But you guys killed people.
Yeah, we're older.
Sharky, I don't think you're making this as simple as it actually is. Don't break the masquerade. That's the big one. That's number 1 on the books, which is don't reveal thyself to be a supernatural, and I think you'll be all right. the rules of hospitality and domain. If you go inside someone's domain, they have to give you hospitality or you have to leave. And you always announce yourself when you're there. Hence why we had this meeting this evening. Because the prince's domain is the city. The third, out of character, is the third tradition progeny. Yeah, I think Ashton would know this. John does not. Um. One of the, those are like the three big ones that I remember that I usually have to adhere to. Don't go around making other vampires if you can help it, or kindred. That's another big no-no. Don't um don't destroy another kindred. Take it up with the court effectively. Court.
Nick's got a moleskin notebook and a pen out of his pocket protected pocket and is writing all of this down with notes of, if you're older, this doesn't count.
Can Ashton see them write that down?
Probably.
He looks at them and goes, scratch the, like, does this motion, like scratch it, and then says, I would ultimately think you would need to scratch that out, because that's not a good mindset to have in a city like this.
Oh, right. And he did talk about accounting, and I'm good at accounting, so.
Well, accounting is more like, because I am older, even though I wasn't the one who created you, we're still responsible for your actions. And thankfully, the prince of this city is very has grace and mercy, where if this could have been any other prince in any other city, you might not receive that.
And Luther's just gonna be all next to Sharky going, so this is like regular laws, right? Like, as long as you don't get caught, fuck it.
Ashton is mean mugging Sharky as this is happening.
We are bound by the laws. We are bound by honor to follow them.
But what if one of these laws contradicts one of the four? For example, what if one of these licks tries to attack you and I have to not have him do that?
You can beat them into submission without killing them. The rite of destruction says nothing about sending them home with broken legs.
It just means you can't turn them into dust.
So, thou shalt not murder, but the word is very unclear on kneecaps.
Precisely, actually. That's exactly how it works. In
I
fact,
mean,
it's encouraged.
It's actually very clear on kneecaps. You didn't kill them, so you're okay. Well, context. There's context that will come along with the kneecapping, I'm sure. With what little interactions I've had with our prince here, there's probably going to need to be context. And Ashton's just like trying not to laugh at them.
We're all just heading to the door, trying to explain the basics of the traditions to the Thin Bloods.
Really,
Yes.
Really think of it this way. If it's within your own domain, you have the right to enforce the traditions however you see fit in your own domain, so long as you don't break one of the traditions of somebody over top of you. If he says no, if the prince has the right of destruction throughout the city, that means you just can't kill nobody. But if you need to enforce the masquerade, because the protection of the masquerade is tantamount, and it's within your domain, you can do whatever you want, you freaking want to that person, so long as you don't murder them.
Like I said, the kneecaps are fine. The kneecaps are fine. Just don't turn them into ash, preferably. Let the prince be the one to pass that judgment. Usually, from my limited experience, is how you stay in the clear of that one particular tradition.
Okay, so the prince is like the general, and you guys are like sergeant majors.
Not really, because well, that makes us like our positions as our positions as members of this city is a little tenuous, so we're not really in the same way that
Ah,
other members of the family are.
so you
However,
guys are like the corpsmen.
Who?
You're like there, but you don't really belong there. You're just there to keep people from doing stupid shit.
Let me put it this way. The prince has been nice enough to let us into his city, giving our certain position. Think of it this way. If someone let you into their home, right? And they said, I need you to do this, this, and this, and I won't A, kick you out, or B, charge you an arm and a leg. Wouldn't you want to do everything you could in your power to respect that so you could continue living your own life? I'm assuming we're still in Elysium at this point.
You guys are
That's
heading
very cool.
out those doors and just
But I'm saying we're still in the building, like we're not on the street
no, we're
yet.
not. We're not in the
Okay.
dais. We are just heading out the doors of the building.
Oh, out the doors of the building. Never mind. Okay, that's why I was asking because I wanted to make sure that Masquerade's safe.
Right,
Um,
right. So like, don't fuck it up for everybody else.
yeah, pretty much. And especially because I am going, like, we are going to be your teachers as it has befallen us for now. I think that important, even more so, it is important that you do not fuck it up, as you said, for everyone else, because that would put our heads on the chopping block.
Okay, so you are like the sergeant's major. If we fuck up, you get your ass chewed off.
I mean, really, honestly, and truly, if you guys fuck up, it's not that we'll get our ash chewed off. More than likely, we'll just both be ash. So don't fuck up, or we'll get to ash you before anybody else finds out. So don't fuck up. I would not like to kill you. Honestly, all four of you seem like pretty nice people, so I would rather not have to ash the four of you.
Sharky, we both can't be Ash now. I'm Ash.
You're
And he
ash
walks
cunt.
towards.
I think Mr. Vanguard made a joke. Does he do that?
I don't know. His family's a mystery to they're a ministry to me. I can also make jokes, can't I, Mr. Vanguard?
We are in public. Watch your mouth. Just leans in and whispers.
Right. So the casino, though. The casino. That's your domain, right?
It's becoming that way very soon.
Okay. So, like, kneecaps in the casino.
hmm if you see somebody who is breaking the rules, especially if they don't ask me for permission to uh, uh, tap from the vein, so to speak, uh, then yeah, kneecaps.
And at the club, which is your domain. Kneecaps.
Yes, with
If we have.
caveats. With caveats, I'd much rather try to handle something before it escalates into violence myself. I'm pretty capable on my own, and if I don't have to get any of you involved in anything like that, the kneecapping, as it were, I'd rather not.
Okay. It's a lot of rules.
Understand that all it really is just one massive way in order to make boons, which are the favors that we trade between each other, so that that way we don't, kill each other. It's, it's all of it's just a favor building machine. It's so that that way, well, I could tell on you for doing this thing that you know you're not supposed to do in my territory, but I'm not going to because you'll owe me a favor if I don't do that for you. You see where this is coming in? It's like a mob tactic. It's a racketeering operation, especially for young people like you. You wind up owing other people because you go someplace, you do a thing that you're not supposed to do, but you don't realize you're not supposed to do it. They clean it up for you, and then you owe them a favor. And if you don't choose to owe them a favor, then they go and tattle on you to the big man in the chair, and then you wind up dead. So either way, the problem is fixed for them. It's all one big racketeering operation. But we should always be honorable to our word. So if you say you owe somebody something, then you should indeed owe them that thing.
Ashton's gonna look over at Sharky and just look at him, and he is rubbing his temple.
That is that, Ashton. That that's not wrong.
I don't think scaring them is going to make it be a helpful way to go about it.
If I may make a suggestion, gentlemen. And this will be Blank Man, aka Lord Bridgerton. I suggest we send at least 3 of these back home. One of them has a requested meeting with His Grace, and there is something that perhaps the 2 of you can clarify if His Grace has any questions regarding the elders just outside the city.
Ashton's gonna nod, and then he's gonna look at Nick. In the next couple of nights or so, I'd like for you to come check my books and make sure everything's going well with the nightclub, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I can do that. I've already started looking at the books, actually, mostly just from like the construction and the refurbishment and everything. You really got fleeced with some of this.
It was done in quite a hurry. So I appreciate you doing that, Nick.
Yep. A speed component will do that. They'll fleece you as much as they can every time. It's an immutable fact of life.
Indeed. Well, wait a minute. How are they getting home?
We'll
They all
just
rode
send him with
together.
Luther. We'll just send him with Luther. I'll call another limo. I
Am
got
I going to be
drivers.
driving this one too?
Well, I was going to call another driver, but since you're so graciously offered, Luther, I wonderfully accept your offer to come and pick us up. Why, thank you so much. Once you drop off the other 2, turn around and come right back here and wait on us, all right?
Fine. I'm not wearing the stupid jacket.
You don't have to wear the jacket this time. You're not meeting anybody. You're going to stay in the car, and if you get shot at, you're going to duck and shoot back, like, from, like, just wildly at wherever the bullets are coming from, okay?
I can do better than shoot wildly.
At that, Ashton has already walked back inside.
So, we have 3 of the Thin Bloods and Mr. Bridgerton going back fucking right off, which leaves you 2 gentlemen and Mix Kent. Okay, so is this still the formal part?
You should always have a level of formality when speaking to a prince. I will let him. I'm not going to speak for Prince Sexton here. So let him be the one to determine how formal or informal you should be. But titles are always appropriate at any point in time, unless you're in a place where the masquerade is not safe. Or it's
Right. I suppose. So, we gonna go back in?
correct.
I mean, technically we don't have to. We just should, because if we don't, then we'll get in trouble. And as we've already mentioned, getting in trouble, there's like one of three punishments that it could be. So we should go back inside.
Right. Trouble is bad. So she's just gonna start walking back in.
Did
We
he?
going?
Ashton would follow him behind them. Did he tell you where he wanted us to meet him at?
No, but like, I suppose we could do worse than going back in the marble room.
Well, that's what I was actually going to suggest. I mean, go back to where we were.
I think he might be summoning the rat lady.
Would Ashton just know who that is?
Would he have figured it out?
There's only one person it could be,
He
because
would
with what,
know a lot of things about Alicia, including that predilection for rats.
but also the context added to it with the John was alluding to she had a title
Yeah.
to them, was like
That
she's not just the rat lady.
that would seem to be a solid.
Um that rat lady is the prince's wife, if I believe it is who I think it is, based on the context of this evening.
Oh, does that make her the princess?
No, she's the seneschal? Out of character? I don't
Alicia's
remember.
official title is the keeper.
She's the keeper of Elysium. No, her title is she's the keeper of Elysium. We'll talk about Elysium etiquette another time. I'm quite a lot more versed in that than I am the traditions.
Right. Okay. Does Sharky have any advice as they're walking back into the
Not
where the
really.
prince is at?
Not really.
Oh boy, I hope not.
Hello, Prince. We're back.
Welcome back. This time, when you enter the throne room, you see the prince sitting atop his throne and kind of a vaguely human shaped, pastel colored lampshade standing nearby.
Oh no, I recognize the rat lady anywhere.
I'd recommend stop calling her the rat lady. He kind of leads, Ashton kind of leads down because he's kind of tall, whispers in their ear.
Oh, all right. That's probably like rude or something. Uh, good evening, Princess Sexton.
Close. Very close.
Keeper of Elysium and Prince John Sexton. How glorious it is to see the both of you.
Oh, right, right. Um, Mix can't. We really gonna have to figure out how to sand some of them rough edges. At any rate, uh, Mr. Vanguard, Mr. Knox, it seems like an age.
It has been. It's a pleasure to see you this evening, Keeper. And he nods politely.
It feels like it has been an age, ain't it? We've been just so busy recently. It's been so stressful for all of us, I feel like. All the whole family here.
I have heard so much about what y'all been doing. Y'all really made it up to Gangrel some account.
We did indeed. I don't even have scars to prove it.
You managed to not allow Moray to push your ass out of tree.
The only reason I left alive is because our favorite flying menace Gangrel was also not there. Uh, so I managed to escape alive and without any harm because she didn't reveal my bloodline.
It wasn't for lack of me trying to do it.
Oh heavens! Oh, and the casino, as well as adopting a bunch of the duskborn.
I have a lot of money. And so a casino is very lucrative. It makes me even more money.
And the club, you know, Ms. Dillard ain't shut up about the inside of that establishment since the last time she visited.
Well, I'm quite glad. Our out of character, Ashton would remember. John does not. Dillard is the harpy, right?
Dillard is the harpy, yes.
Yep. I'm so glad our wonderful harpy enjoyed my establishment. I'm hoping to have her back soon.
I'm sure she's hoping to be back soon, although she does have rather strong words about that new Toreador.
Oh, what was his name? Laurent, I believe it was.
Something like that.
I believe it was.
Francis calls him that horrid little twank.
I think he called himself that at one point, and he chuckles like. Obviously, he's not being serious, but um,
Bless her
yeah,
heart,
he
though.
was.
She does tend to have opinions.
I mean, I was a little appalled by what I was watching happen, just out of sheer respect for everyone there, and I let a lot slide in my club as far as those things go.
Well, left and right had a good time also.
He kind of looks at Alicia and he's pondering for a moment. I mean, yes, I think they did as much as they could.
Oh, being out and about with a mixture of both the living and breathing types and the well, us. Uh, Rosalind and Liesel were happier than pigs in shit.
As long as I've been around, Keeper, I still am not quite used to those southern sayings.
Uh, they took to that club situation like ducks to water.
Oh, I am aware of what it means. It's just still hard not to laugh when I hear it.
Oh, good. Right. Uh, what was it? Uh, Mix Kent. Uh, yeah. Uh, Keeper of Asylum Elysium. We'll work on it. My husband tells me you do alchemy then. Yeah, like, taking a bunch of weird shit, mixing it together, and having it do things that they're not supposed to do. It, Mr. Vanguard, Mr. Knox, is this an aware of the laws? She knows our 4 laws, right?
Out of character, she does, right? I was not caught up that if they were all in
Yes.
all brought in.
They have all been employed by you for at least a couple of weeks. You would
Okay.
have told them about the laws.
Okay. Yes, they do.
Right. Are they aware that most of the folks in this room also have to obey those laws?
Ashton, yet again, because he forgot to tell them that, pinches the bridge of his nose and is like, mutters under his breath, God damn it.
I I told them that we were bound by different laws than they are because they're so young. So I told them, especially since they're just new, they're relatively new. Sometimes, as I'm sure you know, mistakes can happen, especially with the young around. So I didn't want them to think, they were safe. So I have not informed them that we're all bound by the same laws. No.
Right. I think just for the sake of working together. Mix Kent. Yeah. The 4 laws you learned. I am also a member. Oh. Well, that changes things. Now I don't have to worry about as much. Right. But if you could just continue to show a little bit of respect in public, it would do wonders for my image. Well, yeah, sure. You bring us food and stuff. It's fine. Right. John, darling,
Yes.
you have the paper.
He'll reach into his jacket, pull out a piece of tri-folded computer paper, and he'll hold it out next Ken. There's a formula I'd like for you to look over. We have had limited success with it in the past, and it could benefit from your expert eyes.
Okay. Take the paper. Go sit in a corner with the paper. Would you mind chatting with the boys about what they saw at summer camp while I assist Mix Kent?
Of course. And John will just kind of beckon Ashton and Sharky closer.
Ashton casually strides up and just is waiting for Sharky to come up so they can talk.
Sharky's gonna also walk up, join Mr. Ashton. He's gonna be a step behind Ashton at first. Because it's always good tactics to keep somebody in between you and the prince at all times, just as a general rule. Uh, um, but he says, "What is it you wish to know, Prince Sexton?"
Our gangrel comrades. What is it? Tell me what it is that you noticed most about them. Mannerisms, things of that nature.
They were without going into too much detail, they were both feeling drawn away.
I see.
They are both quite old. The the older of the two felt the stronger pull, but they were both feeling it. The younger one was just able to hide it a lot better. The woman, I forget her name.
Mora?
Maury,
Maury.
lovely woman.
Indeed, quite lovely. She was quite kind, quite concerned about her older counterpart. She was indeed almost fully concerned. Um, Besides her own beckoning, that was the only thing that was taking up her thoughts, was trying to help him. Meanwhile, the elder of the two, he was still capable of communicating, but he's on his last legs. He's have you seen what happens to those who resist the beckoning for long enough?
There is a sharp look that flashes on the prince's face for a moment before an expression of no, no, no. He takes a deep and unnecessary breath before nodding softly. I have seen what can occur to those among us who resist the call for far longer than they should. It does not end well.
I do believe he was closer to the ending stages than he was to the beginning. Unfortunately, though he still had his senses.
And there still might be time.
I'm not
I'm
sure
going to
how
let
much left.
going to let you two in on a court secret. Something that I have not even shared with my Ancilla yet. There is an alchemy we've been made aware of that can give one a bit more time before the beckoning truly takes hold. It requires duskborn ingenuity, but typically there is a marked change after one imbibes the beverage. We've taken to calling it draft dodger. Unfortunately, there are diminishing returns. And it is my intention to seek the assistance of those duskborn versed in alchemy to perhaps find out why. Jed and Maury were instrumental in our success during the war. The least I can do to repay them is to offer them just a bit more quality time together.
Sharky, Ashton, will you give me a wits and awareness, please? It's a sliding scale, so don't freak out if you do not roll good.
Nobody panic.
This is not a bad pull for Sharky.
It's not a bad pool for Elmo.
I mean, it's still not a great pool, but I mean, it's sharky. It's not exactly mental first.
I am once again begging you to get awareness.
Once again, no. I bought
Okay.
that one dot. I bought that one dot.
You did. You did. Okay. Ashton, the duskborn and Alicia behind you are speaking very quickly with raised voices. Sharky, their voices are raised not in anger, but more in excitement.
Ashton, hearing the voices in anger, whips around real quick to make sure the Smiley. It is Smiley, right? Is the alchemist? Okay.
Mhm.
That Smiley is not about to shove their foot so far down their throat it's coming out their ass, and he's like, and then probably catches the rest of it and is like, okay, turns back around.
Sharky's not even concerned.
What Sharky would hear from Mix Kent is, well, no, and no wonder it only works for like 6 months and then 4 months and 2 months at a time. Somebody forgot an ingredient. This isn't the whole formula. It can't be because mathematically it doesn't make sense. You're missing something. It's supposed to go right there.
Is she talking about math and now I'm not a science person, but I don't think that's how that works.
When Sharky goes she, he elbows him gently.
They
Gentlemen, if you need to go check on them, please feel free. You've entertained an old man enough for one evening.
I am going to let Sharky handle it.
Hmm.
Your Grace.
Very well.
You're only as old as you feel, Mr. Saxon. Gonna turn, head down that way.
No. Look, the only way I can explain it is it's like a freaking teeter-totter, right? So you're trying to balance all of the mythological effects with the stuff that you need to actually make it work in a body with different biology like kindred, right? So the reason you're getting diminishing returns is because you're missing one of these whole things right there that should be making up the bulk of and this is the conversation like Smiley is holding court and trying to explain a science that can literally not be explained.
So what's the problem going on here?
Look, so they got the basic formula right and it should do what it's supposed to do, but the thing with this is because it's missing this whole section up here on this formula, it's missing something that should go there. And because it is, that's why you get the diminishing returns. If you add that thing, it'll work the same way every time.
Hmm.
I mean, it won't last forever. Nothing does. No kind of medication, no kind of effects, none of that. But you'll stop getting the diminishing returns as fast. Like, I don't know, depending on the potency of whatever it is you put in there to balance out these humors.
All right. So then, with that being said and that being thought, what sort of experiments do you need to run in order to determine what the missing ingredient may be?
I mean, I'd have to have enough room to make this wholesale, essentially, because the whatever's missing is gonna end up being part of the last step, and this is it's
What do you
just
need?
so for one, another alchemist. For two, at least a sizable lab space. For
Hmm.
three, freaking pieces of anything and everything until we can do all the correct.
Oh. We can procure you a lab space. Another alchemist is going. Do you know another alchemist, Madame Alicia?
Well, as it so happens, y'all remember we do that city services thing? The Meals on Wheels. We come and bring food to folk in case of emergency and whatnot.
Oh, oh, right. So people don't have accidents.
Right. Uh, we got a couple of new folks so that we could expand our services somewhat. One of them is an alchemist.
Hmm.
She's a bit on the fragile side of things, though.
So this this Meals on Wheels coterie is really starting to sound like some organizations that I have severe issues with in certain regions of the world.
Oh no, no, you ain't got to worry about that. The only the only supply that we have access to at current comes from the dead.
Now I have different issues in regards to this. Never mind. Carry on. So you have a new alchemist in you have a we have a new alchemist in town.
Right.
All right.
Uh,
Hmm.
she's a bit mentally fragile, though. Well, and physically too, but that might just be 'cause I'm a bit stronger than I look.
She's both physically and emotionally fragile.
Oh well, you oughta be used to having to deal with that sort of thing. After all, isn't your security guy uh one of the weak ones, or the living? What? Well, they're damn close to being what we were.
Yes, weak, not quite, but yes, he's quite fragile. Well, I can definitely get you access to a lab. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Beck already has one, but if you need access to if to more significant equipment, I can make certain that you have access to that. This,
Well, we have an R&D lab for the weapons and whatnot. I reckon I could cut off a corner of that and get you the pieces you need.
R&D lab for what now?
Oh, well, I'm always tinkering with this, that, and the other.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Did you know if you add the right formulation of rock salt and iron, you can punch a ghost?
I thought cold iron was for like the Fae.
Apparently, it works damn good on them ghosty things, too.
I can't keep track. Um,
Rowan wood is also good for the Fae. You might notice we've got a little bit of a copse of trees going most of the way around Elysium.
we need to have it. So wait, you can punch ghosts?
Right, and you can shoot them, too, with the right shotgun shells.
Can you teach me how to do that? That sounds like a wonderful time.
Well, yeah, all I gotta do is get you fitted for a pair of brass knuckles.
We need to talk more often. So we need to do a brass knuckles fit. You know what? How about we set you up, Smiley, with the lab, and meanwhile, while Smiley's at the lab, I can do that brass knuckles fitting while we're there. It can be like a little violence date, that kind of thing.
Valence date.
Yeah, there's a potential for violence.
Uh, Mr. Vanguard, do you weapons anything?
Weapons are
A-
fun.
Ashton, do you weapons?
Let me look at his sheet. I don't remember.
Really,
Hmm.
Sharky only weapons if they're like brass knuckles, because those are brawling weapons.
I
Can't
am not particularly one to fight. I'd rather talk my way out of a situation and result to physical violence later.
Well, unfortunately, I can't do much to give you a silver tongue. That's more my husband's area.
Oh, I'm well aware. So, well, I was told. If His Grace would ever want to give a lesson, I would definitely not turn him down.
I would think very carefully about what sorts of lessons you want to take from John. He has a very distinct teaching style.
I, out of character, know what it is. That's why I'm laughing. Because Ashton, if he knew what that meant, would totally not complain.
Uh, my husband tends to favor the school of hard knocks, if you catch my drift.
I have, and Ashton smirks and chuckles at that. I have no care of how a lesson is taught, as long as it is taught well. And from what I've heard of His Grace, it would still be an honor to take a lesson or two from him.
His Grace teaches a bit like Maury teaches. You gonna get the lesson, but might hurt a bit.
I can take it. And he is trying so hard because of all this, the subtext he is taking from this. It's just like trying not to laugh in Alicia's face.
I can teach you how to not take as much damage from every hit. That might help you.
But that takes all the fun out of it, Sharky. And he smirks.
I mean, are you one of those folks who likes getting hurt?
Like getting hurt, like making people feel hurt. It just depends on the mood, Keeper.
Huh. Right. Uh, John,
Yes, darling.
We gonna be making a play date between Darlene and Smiley.
Wonderful. Shall I assume that you'll be utilizing Candyland?
Don't tell me he's got you calling it that too.
I think it's a delightful nickname.
It's not like we make candy down there.
No, but it's an apt euphemism.
There's varying ways that candy can be used as a euphemism for, and considering what we're making down there, I think it's apt as well.
I think this must be a boy thing. It seems like all y'all boys understand that, but I ain't got a clue. Uh, Seifert don't neither, but she's not exactly up on the pop culture. Right. So, Mr. Knox, you and I will set an appointment for them brass knuckles sometime in the next couple of nights, yeah? You are muted, Sharky.
I think that would be wonderful, especially now that I'm getting to some degree involved in the criminal underworld. It might give me a little bit of, a little bit of an iron fist as well. Gotta make
Right,
sure my point's known.
right. And then there's Mr. Vanguard. Did you want to set up an appointment with my husband for I don't silver tongue training? I don't know etiquette.
I,
Summit.
considering what I am working out with the harpy, I think it would be apt that I brush up on my etiquette and beforehand. So
You
yes,
made
it would
you
be.
made her so happy.
Well, I'm glad I could make her happy, even if it was just for a little bit while she was dealing with other things that night. It seemed.
Yes, yes, that horrible twank.
That's putting it politely. Yes.
Yeah,
Twink,
she
you
told me
say?
about him.
Sorry, what did you say, Sean?
Twink, you say?
Oh yeah.
Monsieur d'Albert.
Isn't he a marquis? I'm not sure if he'd like the monsieur.
Oh, yes. What was it? The Marquis of Nominee?
Anyway, he's one of them Toreador folks, and apparently he's a bit annoying.
Oh, ugh, Toreador.
That was why I didn't answer your question about left and right, Keeper, was because I couldn't tell how much of it they were enjoying it themselves or how much it was manufactured, if you catch my
Eh,
drift.
I don't think Marquis Delbert would have the how's that the nice way to like many of his brethren. I don't think he quite has the balls to stand toe to toe with Miss Dillon.
Well, Lord knows they were flopping in the wind because I was sitting there clutching my pearls, and that takes a lot for me to do. I was worried
Well,
we were going to not an unwarranted incident, but I was worried it might have turned into one, and I would have
you familiar with the history of espionage?
sort of.
How about Mata Hari? You familiar?
Can you say that without the accent, G'day?
Mata Hari.
No.
She was a spy who used her feminine wiles to get information.
Ah, yes. Wait, hold on. Let me think about something because I just realized, as old as Ashton is, he actually would be familiar with that whole concept.
He
Now that I'm thinking
probably
about
would,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and then
probably the old honeypot is probably
yeah.
one of his favorite ways to operate.
Mm-hmm. And you see, as Alicia mentions the names, a light bulb finally clicks in Ashton's head. Oh, that horrid little twink.
Left and right have been well. I imagine Rosalind and Liesel could give Mata Hari a few lessons by this point in their existences.
Ashton doesn't say anything. He smirks and he nods.
There is a reason we have a Ventru hobby.
Because the city is led by Ventru? That's what I assumed.
Well, we also have Toreador here, but there is a reason why Miss Dillard was given the position she was given.
Because she's the best at the job, and this is a meritocratic city?
She is quite a good information collector, and Liesel and Rosalind are part of the reason why.
So she's the best at the job. That's what I said.
Correct. I wasn't sure whether it was sarcasm. It's hard to
No?
tell.
It's. Uh, there are times where my sarcasm, my dry humor does not read as easily as I've been told. No, it was no sarcasm because she is legitimately the best at the job. That seems to be the case here, which should indeed, if you ever meet any Toreador, you can tell them I said that she's the best at the job. Make sure to actually let Miss Dillard know and have her spread that around that she's the best at the job. That's coming.
Oh, Marquis d'Albert would probably like to be in the running, but
She's the best at the job.
she is. Hottest I to know. She's got a knack for making herself heard. But then, they always do, don't they?
It's the point of the job, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. Being independent, I don't know much about Cameron politics. However, the very few times I have dealt with harpies in the past, the common denominator has always been loud.
Well, Mr. Vanguard, you've met her.
She was quite an interesting character, I have to say.
Loud does fit, Ms. Dillard.
Oh, it does. I don't disagree. However, I think as loud as she is, she's still a very interesting character.
She's something, anyway. And like I said, Liesel and Rosalind have been a large part of the reason she is so successful. Folks who wouldn't say anything within about 30 miles of the Hoppy will still seem to talk to her ghouls.
Do people lack common sense these days, or nights, or whatever?
You would be surprised at how many folks will just straight up come to me with their secrets here and in cities we've been in before. You
I
would
mean,
think they would know better than to dangle a secret in front of an knife.
Also, one who is, depending on what it is, also one who is married to the prince of the city you're in.
Well, yeah, there's that.
I mean, usually you want to dangle secrets in front of the nos, and then you hand them over, and then for pay. That's typically the standard process. But if people just are giving you their secrets,
It's strange, right?
eh, we need to teach.
I'd have thought they'd have been better educated. Maybe they just know too many nos, like some of the ones I met down south.
Southern nos.
Couldn't sniff out a secret if it bit 'em in the behind.
They're quite scary, though.
Do you know we had Nosferatu who didn't know that there was an information network?
Are you sure they were? Even I know that.
Right? But then again, you do spend a lot of time around Daddy and his folks.
True. But even before that, I knew that. That's why, you know, you all are so scary, and why you always seem to know where everyone is at all times.
Oh, I don't think I'm that scary.
I use that colloquially. You all as in your clan as a whole. You're not
Oh,
that
right,
scary.
right, right. The hidden. It,
Yeah. Yes. And whenever you think you're alone, there's usually somebody watching you, and it's usually a Nosferatu or
oh,
Malkavian.
right. Eh, we have a few of those, and I think some all coming to visit.
Interesting. Interesting. He just
Right.
nods. He's listening.
But right, we'll get those things scheduled. So that would
Indeed.
be some time in the lab for Mr. Shockey, and some time with etiquette before we start doing tongue lashings with Mr. Vanguard.
I think that
Uh,
would be quite enjoyable.
all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get Mix Kent set up. I'll send her along back to the hospital. Did you guys have anything else y'all needed?
I do have a question of something that was, I think, out of character. Did we get talked about the city, the Toreador city, Cam City to the, what was it, northeast of us?
There hasn't been much besides whispers.
I'm asking out of character, did the prince mention it to Sharky and Ashton and Beck?
One of your last sessions, he had mentioned that there was a antagonistic domain to the north.
Ashton is going to look at John. If you do need any help, if things get out of hand to the domain to the north, by all means, don't hesitate to ask. I have a particular skill set that I think may come in handy for that.
Fairchild, yes. He's sent along an emissary, but thankfully he's been keeping quiet for the most part. I will we'll arrange a meeting. There are a few individuals that might be able to provide further insight on that and help formulate more of a strategy.
Indeed, it's going to take a level of social engineering, I think.
Wendy's supposed to be paying a visit up there per some deal they doing.
Interesting.
Reckon we send Mr. Vanguard at the very minimum up that way.
And I believe Monsieur d'Albert has some debts with this court that need settling. I think Three's company.
I definitely agree, and it will be good to see Wendy again. I haven't seen her since she paid me a visit at the nightclub.
Isn't she just delightful?
She's quite a darling.
John's face drops at that. Yes, isn't she just? Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some other matters that need tending to. Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your evening. And he
Right.
pivots on a heel and begins clicking off.
I should go follow him. Do y'all need me to call you a car or something?
Oh
I
no!
think Sharky has it.
I told my retainer to turn around and come get us quite some time ago, so he should be here any moment.
I reckon he's probably sitting outside.
I reckon as well.
He is the big one, wasn't he?
Yes, the one who sweats. Ugh.
Well,
Don't miss
yeah, the
that.
big one.
Yes, like I said, the one who sweats. That's an easier way to remember him. I mean,
All
I
right.
guess you could remember his name, but the one who sweats is also appropriate.
Right. Anyway, I reckon I'll get them set up and uh, call a call if they would prefer to go back to the hospital. And see you gentlemen later.
Have a good evening.
Right. I should. Bye. Follow me, Mexican. And off they go. So, what are your thoughts and/or feelings?
Ashton is sus about the pun that he made about Wendy, because that was just a very staunch change, and he's like, not gonna do that anymore, filing that away in the bank. And it's just turning to walk out. 'Cause
Sharky.
Sharky was watching the prince move away. Clearly, it was seemed pretty obvious. There's such a change in demeanor so quickly. Uh, not a good sign with elders knowing Sharky's experience. He was just watching, and then he turns away. Um, then he turns to Ashton. If you need a, if you need any setup or monetary help for your trip up north, I mean, I don't think you need money per se, but if you need me to invest in anything to give you an upper hand while you're up there with
I
the,
think where you could be helpful to me in this endeavor is going to come later, not in the immediate future. I can handle myself in a conversation, Sharky. So you're the one that I worry about a little bit there. He smiles.
why have a conversation when you have money?
Exactly, and that money will come in handy, but not right now, dear. And no, I don't need money. You may be a little bit more wealthier than me, but I'm not poor either.
I said if you need help investing in a local location or anything like that in order to make certain you have complete control over it before you go in, even if they don't know that, feel free to ask. But if you don't need it, you don't need it.
Like I said, I have to assess the situation before I start making moves like that, because it seems like people have been working on this for a little bit longer than maybe we've even been in the city, Sharky. You don't want to accidentally turn something that's a powder keg like the thing and blow the fucker up. So I have to assess the situation and what's already been done and negotiated before I make moves. There's also something I think you may be good at but I'll save that for a later time in a private discussion. He smiles.
Will do. Come, let's see what Luther's up to.
Yes. I hope he has the air condition running. Looked like he was about to sweat through all his clothes.
No need to worry about that. Luther is wearing no shirt at all and a pair of Beetlejuice pajama pants.
Ashton just kind of looks him up and down and is admiring, assumedly, the eye candy.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Just, okay.
Luther's face claim is young Thomas Jane. He is definitely eye candy.
Yep, he's admiring the eye candy.
So is Sharky. Of course, being professional about it, though, I am his employer.
He is also just in the front seat, barely paying attention, reading a Punisher comic book.
There was a second reason why I picked him as my retainer that has nothing to do with his physical acumen. Well, it still has something to do with his physical acumen, but as you can tell.
It's just the pretty part.
I'm sure he does have pretty parts. Anyway,
So, yes, the driver is there. He's not really paying much attention. He has got his nose in a Punisher comic book.
He's going to open the door to the back of the limousine, get in, press the little like conference button so that way he can talk to him, and be like, "The club, please. We're going to go imbibe some mortals." I think was our plan, Mr. Vanguard, was it not?
no.
We already
I
talked
need
about
to...
this.
No, not tonight. I was just inviting you there if we need to have any conversations about education for our new retainers. For our children.
That was not the conversation of the limousine travel that we had earlier. I said we were gonna go imbibe some.
Sharky, come by another night, my comrade, because tonight may not be a good night for that. Because he already fed off of his herd. He's not letting Sharky take another dot.
Well, if someone doesn't like to keep their promises.
Some weird lady sent over something.
Who?
It's apparently condition friendly.
Was it? Oh,
I don't know, man. She looked like a lampshade.
oh, that was the Keeper of Elysium and the Prince's wife.
Can people stop calling her a lampshade? That's very offensive.
To what? A lamp?
To her! It's offensive to her. Not only Luther, that's his name.
Yes, that's his name.
Yes, that is his name.
Luther. Sweetheart, I don't think you realize that not only does she hold a court position within this city, she is also married to the prince. And from what I've heard, he is very protective of her in a very old school fashion. And I am a little bit older than you, and what I
It's
mean
not
by that is
said it to his. It's not like I said it to her face.
just stop saying it at all. Because that's how you accidentally slip up and say it in front of her face.
And
Fine. Anyway, the lady in the pink, and he holds up a bottle that looks like one of those moonshiners bottles, and it's red and fairly viscous.
pass it here. Pass it here. I want to give it a quick sniff.
Did you guys get to try and or imbibe any of Jed's bloodshine?
I think different character did in season 1. I don't think Ashton has yet.
This is very alcoholic. Very alcoholic.
Stings the nostrils.
Condition friendly.
Oh, Ashton, I don't think you'd like it at all.
This tastes like it's good for two things: degreasing engines and killing brain cells.
And it's doing both right now.
You're muted.
I've been talking. I've been doing this the whole time and talking. Anyway, he pours in the champagne flute about a wine's tasting's worth, swirls it around, smells it, looks at it, and downs it. But it's not a lot of it.
This is a shot of moonshine. This is straight condition friendly freaking white lightning.
As a southerner, Oh
More like red
God.
lightning.
Ashton knows not what he just did, but John does. He scrunches his face. That was
And it
quite horrible.
fights the whole way down.
Oh, if it's akin to moonshine, oh, honey, I know, honey. Um, I feel like you could use that to set, like, you can make a Molotov cocktail out of that, dear. Not, I don't mean like an alcoholic drink. I mean an actual Molotov. What the hell was that? He's just,
Go ahead.
pardon? I didn't hear you. Good day.
I thought Sharky was saying something. Okay. Uh, lady called it bloodshine.
Bloodshine. I'm not a fan, Sharky. You're not drinking in my club. If you're well, actually, if you can promise me something,
And that would
if
be
you don't act a fool in my club, if you're going to drink this and come hang out at the club.
I'll go home.
Excellent. What you do in your own home is no concern to me. Just please don't break the masquerade.
If it's in my domain, I'll just make certain to kill everybody who sees me break the masquerade.
I didn't see shit.
Ashton is at his wits' end with Sharky. Ed is just looking at him. Don't get me involved if you do.
That's how the Camarilla keeps it too. You just buy up all their assets, take them and kill them, make certain that it looks like it's an accident or, you know, just a random act of violence from some random person who you can frame, and then, no more masquerade breach. There you go.
I am so glad I can break you like a twig. Otherwise, it would be really bad for me to piss you off.
Luther, you have no idea the person you're talking to. You can't
Yeah, the
break
rich
me
guy
like
that I work for, right?
let's see. Let's see what he at this point Sharky's just going to put his hand on Luther's shoulder and then using his brawl and grapple specialty because Sharky has a lot of that. He's gonna just twist his arm behind his back.
Hey, Sharky, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How much of that bloodshine did you currently like while you were in the vehicle? How much of that bloodshine did you take down?
Probably not a lot. Probably like a shot or two at most.
We'll call it 2 shots. Uh, go ahead and roll for me, please. Give me 1 second.
Hmm.
Let's call it a composure and awareness.
Exposure and awareness. That's not too bad. I keep struggling to find where the box of doom is. May I blood search?
Um, you don't have to.
It's the end of the night. Why not? I'm gonna spend a willpower because I've not used any this session.
Okay.
4 successes.
you would notice that as you try to reach out and bend Luther's arm around, that everything's moving real slow. Like real slow. And like you feel like you're really gripping onto Luther's arm, but he just kind of shakes you off. As you look out the windows, you see the trails of the taillights. Like they leave long trails of light behind them as they pass by. Everything is kind of wobbly, dipping and swaying. You, sir, have imbibed the good stuff. So if you would like to make that strength and brawl check, it is going to be at a 2 dice penalty.
It's still rolling 6 dice.
I mean, I'm not telling you no. I'm just letting you know what's going on because I'm the one that has the stats for the bloodshine.
So does Ashton see this going on?
Presumably.
He's gonna look at Sharky and look at him and say, you know, I'm not opposed, but not while I'm in the car. Let me get out first. Do whatever y'all want to do after. But please don't while I'm in the car.
I will break your arm in a few minutes once I come down from this. Okay?
Please don't break his arm.
The boy needs to learn.
I
Be
don't
a
think that's
shame if you ended up having to do a lot of your own heavy work because I'm missing something vital.
You can still heal yourself, right? You can do that.
Not anywhere near like you guys do.
You can heal up in like a week. Me too.
Broken arm means a trip to the hospital, boss.
You have to go to the hospital? Why do you have to go to the hospital?
Because I would need to get my arm reset.
You are the worst security officer I've ever heard of.
Sharky, darling, I think you should shut up. At this point, Ashton is at his wit's end, and he's going to look at Luther. Are we almost back to my nightclub?
Yeah. Do you want me to drop Mr. Knox off, or do you want me to bring him home?
Would you both like to stay with me for the evening?
No.
You want to go home, Mr. Knox?
I want to go home. And I'm taking this with me.
Please, for the love of God, whatever the hell that was not normal liquor. It reminds me of my time with the Green Fairy, as it were.
You slept with a twink wearing green?
So I don't
Right.
know if Sharky and Beck know this. Ashton is much older than I think the two of them are. Absinthe, dear. Oh my God, you uncultured. I can't even say that. That's offensive.
Right.
Anyway.
Mr. Vanguard, I'll drop you off at the club, and then Sharky, Mr. Knox, and I will head back to the casino.
Yes, indeed. I'm definitely going to have to ask the keeper exactly what it was she gave you, because that's quite interesting. I'm not familiar with that kind of spirit.
At this rate, I'm probably going to have to carry him in. Don't you think?
Well, that's why I offered you to stop here. I have a back door. I don't know how well you can get in and out of a casino with you carrying someone.
There's a bunch of entrances that most folks don't look for. It'll be fine.
It's also significantly common. In fact, at a casino, it's basically expected for people to be horrifically drunk on a regular occasion, to the point where, nobody would really bat an eye.
All right. Well, Luther, do you have my phone number?
Yeah.
If you need me, I'll be up doing some light reading, so don't hesitate.
Yeah, the Frankenstein gave me yours and Beck's both.
Frankenstein?
Lord something. Club
Don't
hand.
don't call him Frankenstein. That's rude.
I wouldn't do that to his face. He seems like a nice guy.
I, the player, need a minute after that. What the fuck are these duskborn? The fuck? I am cringing. I, the player. I'm sorry, that broke me.
What
Okay.
are these duskborn? Your problem. That's what they are.
Well, that's not my problem. Sharky's his keeper.
In fairness, Nick just became kind of a stuttering idiot for a while.
No, Ashton is the only one that in Ashton's eyes, Nick is the only one that did remotely okay.
And
Because if all he did was become a stuttering mess, but listen to when Ashton said, do this, say this, as he was kind of coaching him through it. These are the titles, use these titles, and he did it. That's like, we could fix the stuttering. We could fix the anxiety. We can't fix the blatant disrespect.
Dr. Drake did fairly well as well.
Well, yes. But yet again, that's not the one he's been around all night. It's been Smiley, Nick, and
Smiley and Luther
are
so special.
So with the, Luther, darling, I'm going to need you to see me at your earliest convenience for etiquette lessons, please.
Okay.
Because while you can handle yourself in a fight, I'd hate for you to piss off the wrong kindred and you end up ash or just a corpse.
It'd be a problem.
Ashton just blinks at him.
I'll come in for lessons or whatever when I'm not busy. Is that okay?
Yes, and also the way you should address Alicia, the one who you said looked like a lady in pink and a lampshade, you can just, when we're in safe environments, you can call her keeper or the keeper.
Yeah.
That is her title. And if they're at the club in the parking lot, Ashton's gotten out and at this point.
Yeah. I'll come by or whatever. I guess there's a lot of rules and stuff we're supposed to be learning.
Not even, think of it this way, right? You have an employer, right? Someone who pays your bills for you, or is your landlord. You wouldn't, if you want to keep your place that you have or your job, you wouldn't be disrespectful to them, right?
I mean, I still call that guy Mr. Knox.
That's because that's his title, right? So
Yeah.
think of it this way. The prince and his court are like our, I don't like the term landlord, but for that sake of this conversation, that's what we're going with. You don't want to piss any of them off because they're the ones granting us rights and things like that within the haven and having havens and domains and things of that nature. So you want to always stay on their, I don't want to say always stay on their good side, but you definitely don't want to do things to piss them off. Just like you would your boss for a job that you like.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Sexton, then?
I don't actually know what they go by in settings that aren't safe to be using our terminology. I have not been in a situation where that has come up. That can wait for later. But when we're in settings like we were tonight, it is you address Alicia as the keeper or keeper, and you address Mr. Sexton as the prince. Simple as that.
Okay.
He does a thumbs up very awkwardly, like a cheesy dad's thumbs up, like, you got this, kid.
You go, sport!
Yeah. And at this point, he shuts the car door or opens the car door and gets out.
You can do this, champ.
It was very like, you got this. Yeah, you got this vibe. And then he's going to get out and go in the nightclub.
Have a good day, Mr. Vanguard. Luther's gonna car around and start drive back to the casino. Is there anything in parting that Mr. Knox would like to hopefully metaphorically beat into his charge?
On the way home, he's just gonna put his feet up, say, "Listen to Mr. Vanguard. He knows what he's talking about at least 20% of the time. So just listen to him, and then come to me if you need anything sorted out."
Okay, I'll try. It's a lot to remember, though.
It's 6 rules.
I mean, on top of the 4 we already have, that's 10.
Yeah, that's a number that kindergartners can count to.
You've never really hung out with many Marines, have you, sir?
You're right, I'm asking too much.
Marines can absolutely count to 10.
Unless they lost a finger.
And really, there's
Yeah.
an unspoken 7th tradition, so it's kind of like there's 11, but we can't talk about that. Because I don't respect it.
I mean, I kind of got the idea you don't respect a lot, Mr. Knox.
Not true. I give those the respect that they have earned.
That's the 3rd rule, right? You get what you earn.
There is no rule for that in kindred society. The rule for domain, which is the rule you speak of, is not what you get what you earn, but you are owed respect in your domain. I respect my prince. I respect he's not my prince, but I respect the prince because we're in his domain. And I respect his rules and his laws. As should you.
Do what I can.
But no, it's not you respect what you earn. You get what you earn. That's not what that means. While our prince has earned his title by right, there are many princes out there who have earned it through foppish politicking, that have never lifted a finger to do anything more than talk in their life. Our prince is not that way, but many are. Don't assume that because they have domain that they have earned your respect. But
Do
still,
Mr. Vanguard said him and the lady were married.
yeah, that is
We
correct.
get married. That's like a thing we do.
I don't know if you guys can. You see, marriage amongst kindred, I don't even know if those two are married in the kindred sense. Marriage amongst kindred means something different from marriage amongst humans. You see, if I were to have you bite into my wrist and pull away before you fully drained me, which would already be a bad thing. You're never allowed to do that. Don't ever even think about doing that. But if you were to bite into my wrist and then I were to pull away, you would feel a very strong emotional connection to me. This horrific practice is called a blood bond. If you were to do that 3 times, the bond would be absolute. Marriage in a kindred sense is when two people share that bond mutually, and it is a barbaric practice.
So it'd be rude to ask.
Rude to ask if they are kindred married, or if we can, or if
Yes.
we can, yeah. We're going to assume that they are, but it is a barbaric practice that I will never recommend anyone partake in. But the Camarilla, which is the group that we just spoke to, don't see it that way, so never utter those words outside of this car. Do you understand?
Sure.
In any case, it is an obsessive ownership of one another. Which, to be fair, is no different for a lot of people in their actual marriages. But, um,
Sounds like you know from experience, boss.
there's a reason why I'm not a part of the ivory tower, as they call it.
You find that guy first? The the spider guy?
To a degree, I found him first, but I didn't find him before I found others. Not all of us get the chance like you have. Understand that while I will continue to bully you relentlessly, as is my job, as your now adopted sire, myself, hopefully Ashton, and certainly Dr. Beck, we're watching out for you. The other two, it might just be because it's their own heads on the line, but I don't want you to be in a situation that I was in.
Okay, that makes some semblance of sense. You think the drink's worn off now?
He's gonna look back at the taillights. Am I still seeing fog trails?
No, no. You're starting to feel a little bit better now.
Figure
Yeah, yeah, it's starting to wear off. I need
uh,
another shot.
figure I'll call that lady Mrs. Sexton till somebody tells me different. What you figure?
In public, Mrs. Sexton. Call her keeper when we're not in public, when we're in a closed location like that.
Okay.
Madam Alicia is also acceptable. Um,
I'm allowed to call her by her first name.
so long as you put her honorific before it. Don't just call
Okay.
her by her first name. You ever address royalty?
Do I look like I'm the kind of person who addresses royalty?
I don't know. I don't know. You said you were a Marine. U.S. Marines get up to some weird stuff. So you might have had a chance to meet
I
the
can't
Queen
say
or
I've never
something.
punched a duke.
That sounds very hazardous of you. Uh, but
It was his own fault trying to get in a drinking contest with a bunch of Marines.
in any case, treat them like you're addressing royalty. Put the honorific beforehand. Put an honorific there. You should be fine. But be respectful. Think like you're addressing a very old person. Very old, very respectful. You're not respectful, they'll freak out at you. Except this person is also holding a 9 gauge shotgun at your head at all times that would hurt harder than a 9 gauge shotgun, and there's no way to get it out of your face until you leave the room, but you can't leave the room until you've shown them the proper respect.
So a healthy amount of fear.
Yes.
Like the drill sergeant in basic.
Yes.
Should be doable. And with that, are there any parting words from either of our players? With that, we will call this session of Philly by Night, the Emissary Coterie, to a close. So, we're going to go around as we always do, and we're going to tell you who we are and where to find us. So you're up, Sharky.
So, hi, my name is Sharky. I also go by Kingdom 0905 on most of the places where you can find me. TikTok now again for as long as we have that again. Uh, all that good stuff. Um, also go by Chandler in different places. If you can find me under Kingdom, you're supposed to find me there. If you find me under my other name, don't stop. No, go away. Um, and yeah.
Mr.
Heyo,
Vanguard.
I'm John or Johnny, and you can find me here on Twitch at Rosewood Productions. I'm looking to get that started soon, as well as TikTok as that nerd guy as long as we have it. And that's really it for now. Stay tuned for more details on that as things progress forward for me. And I'm just delighted to be here, as always.
Fearless leader.
Hi, I'm Einar. You can find me reliably at instarsorbit.bsky.social or less reliably at Einar_TTRPG on the TikToks. You can also find Philly by Night at our numerous socials, TikTok, YouTube, and Blue Sky, at Philadelphia by Night.
And I, as always, am your storyteller. For the emissaries, anyway. Good Day Effects. You can find me on TikTok as G'day_effects, on Blue Sky and YouTube as G'day Effects, all one word, no underscore. And I'll see you where I see you, I guess.